Catch up on all the live shows right here on africatechradio.com.
When the discussion about cybersecurity comes up, many small business owners and managers leave the room because it does not concern them. The argument usually is that not many small businesses are targeted by hackers, and or cyber criminals, or maybe because when the hack actually happens, it doesn't mean much in the grand scheme of things. Well, both assumptions may be very wrong because most small businesses have their data tied around the owner or the owners. And if and when either the owner or the business is at risk, everything, and by everything, I mean everything, is at risk. Cybersecurity is important because it protects all categories of data from theft and from damage. This includes sensitive data, personally identifiable information, protected health information, personal information, intellectual property, data, government, industry information systems, and information. Considering that micro, small, and medium businesses are the lifewire of many African economies, and that cyber threats have continued to increase, maybe you should start staying to listen into these conversations. Yes, don't leave the room. Don't also leave the chat. Start asking relevant questions and put into practice the advice that you get. Well, this is one of the rooms you shouldn't leave. This is one of the chats you shouldn't leave. And just in case you're not an owner or a manager, you know someone who owns a small business, well, this is the time for you to help them out. Help that small business close to you. This is the third episode of our cybersecurity series in the month of October 2023, brought to you by Ethnos.
At Ethnos, we are focused on solving customers' problems. Whether it is securing the applications and databases that power your business, the users and customers that access your infrastructure, API calls that go in and out of your business, securing people who are your greatest assets, but also pose your weakest link. We also look after your relevant security regulatory standards and the frameworks that you should comply with. Yes, we are Ethnos. We solve real problems.
We have today Miracle Chukwudebe, a security consultant at Ethnos, and Kole Dawodu-Olubunmi, the Assistant Director, SME Development Agency of Nigeria. That's welcome, and let's start with Mr. Miracle. How are you doing today? And Mr. Kole, how are you doing today?
Very well, thank you, Tony.
Okay, so let's start with the definition, or we trying to understand what an SME is and the types or the kinds of SMEs that we have. And we'll be starting with Mr. Kole. Please help us better understand when we say an SME, what are we talking about? What kind of business are we talking about? And do we have distinctions as to what qualifies this to be an SME or whatnot?
Yeah, fantastic question, Tony. We've said it about a million times, and then new work has been done about categorizations and then classifications of SMEs. But the regular one right now, that is in the policy documents of MSME development in Nigeria, is the nano, micro, small, and medium enterprises. Okay, so for the sake of those that are just listening for the first, or are not familiar with this categorization, the nano enterprise are those that employ only maximum of three. Okay, so the categorization actually is based on employment and then turnover. Okay, so for those that are in a nano, they do not employ more than 3, and then maybe their turnover is about 25 million, less than 25 million. Okay, so that's for the nano. Then for the micro, they can employ between 3 and 9, and then the turnover is about between 3 million and 25 million. Sorry to correct that. The nano is actually less than 3 million as in turnover, but for the micro, is between 3 million and 25 million. And then for the small, the employment is between 11 and 50, and then the turnover is between 25 million and 100 million.
And turnover is per financial year, right?
Yeah, per financial year, that's right. And then for the medium enterprise or enterprises, about 51 million to 200, 51 employees to 200 employees. And then the turnover is maybe less than 1 billion. Okay, so that's a general classification that we have for SMEs.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, just before we went live, we're talking about non-tech and tech in classifications of SMEs. Kindly shed more light to that.
Okay, so presently there's a national survey of MSMEs in Nigeria, and then it puts the number of SMEs or MSMEs, to 39.6 million post-COVID. Which means that some businesses were lost during COVID because it was 41 million before now. Okay, so this is the statistics that we work with, and an unconfirmed stat says that there are about 9.6% that are tech-enabled businesses within the fold of that 39.6 million. So which means we have a huge number of non-tech enabled businesses. Tech enabled means, those that use technology to drive the processes of their business, either with production, processing, distribution, storage, or whichever, while the non-tech are those that, they're really illiterate in using technology to it, or semi-illiterate. They probably just use WhatsApp, Instagram, marketing. That's the only point they use. So that's how we have that tech enabled and the non-tech enabled businesses.
And no offense to those who actually use just WhatsApp or Instagram.
Not at all.
No offense at all.
At all.
So to Miracle, cybersecurity, why do SMEs, some or most, leave the room or leave the group chat when we say cybersecurity? Any idea?
Well, it can boil down to a couple of things. One of which is the awareness. Okay? You are not aware of some of these things. Sometimes some people, because they are not aware of a thing, they don't know this thing, they are afraid when such topics are brought up. Not because those topics are exactly scary, but because they just don't have the understanding. They lack the comprehension of that topic. Now, we've seen this happen exactly for businesses. Where you try to talk about security, try to talk about, people are afraid. They don't understand it. It sounds so large. Cybersecurity sounds like, something so insurmountable, but it is not exactly so. Cybersecurity basically is just implementing measures to protect your digital asset. Now, it still sounds sort of ambiguous, but what we're saying is all those things that you consider data, you consider important to your business, everything that is an asset to you that you consider valuable, whatever it is that we're doing around the digital ecosystem, whether on WhatsApp, whether on WhatsApp, on Facebook, on a website, on an application, whatever it is, any measure we put in place to protect that data, that information, that application, that is what cybersecurity is just all about. Protecting it. I mean, it's not that deep. Really.
So, why is it important for small businesses to be protected? For me, on my own, right? I know that in terms of employment, small SMEs, contribute the largest to almost all the countries on the continent, from Nigeria to South Africa, like small businesses.
Absolutely.
In terms of contribution to GDP too, it's like really, really high up there. If we take them out, it's like taking the oxygen out of, the economy, the life wire of a country. But then for you as a cybersecurity, expert, why is it important to a small business?
Good. Thank you. That's a very good question. Now, there are a host of importance. All right. One of which is, let me put it at brand reputation.
Okay.
All right. As an SME that, I've got up to, the small scale based on your categorization. I mean, that was very factual. I really wanted to, pay more attention. So for the guys that are considered small, you have gotten to a point whereby you are reaching to a lot of customers. All right. And you want to grow. Okay, that is very key. Every business that started today wants to grow exponentially. And one of the things that can actually attract growth to you is when you provide to your stakeholders. And by providing value is you take proactive steps, demonstrating to them that you take data seriously, you take security seriously. I mean, take for example, I'm a small business, maybe a smaller job business, all right? And then probably we started a small website, and then I made a payment through your website. And the very next day, I saw on the news that, that our job business has been hacked, and my payment card information that I used is now available on the web. All right, just don't even imagine it, because you can imagine the kind of reputational damage that would bring to that business. People, we've seen sometimes where people began to say things like, that bank, take away your money from there. That, the kind of reputational damage it brought, even though those things were, false, but these are things that businesses tend to face. If you are a business that has taken proactive steps to protect your business, and in cybersecurity, another thing that we talk about is governance, risk, and compliance. Now, you have complied with certain regulations, you have been assessed, you have been granted a certification to prove that you have met all the stipulated requirements. That on its own brings recognition to you in the global market. It gives you a competitive advantage over the next business, your competitor who has not done those things, all right, and put you on the global map. There are partnerships you may want to have. There are some kind of funds you may want to attract. But when the investors looks at you, you're neither here nor there. Like, what steps are you making to protect data or this money that you want me to invest? And if you cannot prove it, I mean, you may not get that funding that you want. But when you have taken those steps, put in cybersecurity measures, you have trained your staff, they understand cybersecurity, you have invested, doesn't have to be so much, but you have put in some money into proactive protection. You can attract those businesses to your business.
Yeah, so back to you, Miracle, on those very important first steps that needs to be taken by every small business in terms of what they should look out for, the biggest challenges that they would face, and how to work around it as a small business.
Perfect.
But then he's just talked about something really important. You're neither here nor there if, you don't take certain steps moving forward. And before we, came on live, we're talking about getting the non-tech businesses to transition to tech, right? In terms of the classification of SMEs that either use, tech in their processes or not. Why is it important for an SME in this digital era to be tech enabled? Why don't I just relax where I am and, just be using WhatsApp to send to family and friends, right?
Yeah, Tony, that's it's hilarious, but I mean, it's one of the questions that have been running through the minds of operators and even regulators, those in the system or in that space. Well, the trend of businesses right now in the world is digitalized, right? It's digital. We can't retract our steps anymore. We just have to catch up and even maintain that pace with what is trending around the world. I mean, I will bring you up to speed to some of the information that we have right now. There are 7 unicorn companies in Africa. Unicorn means that they've hit $1 billion, right?
Okay.
5 of them are in Nigeria.
$1 billion.
Yes. Yeah, Andala, Flutterwaves, mention them. They are unicorn companies, right?
And they're tech business.
Businesses.
Think about it.
Exactly, they are tech businesses. No, so I mean, 7 in Africa, 5 in Nigeria means that we are getting to that point. But there's a great disconnect from those unicorn companies and those that are coming or aspiring to be unicorn companies. There's a big gap, a huge gap. So we also need to consider, that as we're thinking that, we need to flow with whatever is happening around the world, everybody's going digital. So you find some SMEs, non-tech enabled SMEs approach us and say, so how are fintech companies raising money? You hear somebody's raised $100,000, $1 million. So how are they getting the money? Who is it from? Who are these investors? Can't we get those investors for ourselves? And then we have to let them know that, look, we need to translate to using digital so that it could be confirmed anywhere around the world, because businesses are local, yet global at the moment. So we need to work with that thoughts with, SMEs now.
Local, yet global.
Yeah, that's right.
Somebody's taking notes. Somebody's taking notes. Now, Mr. Merrick, when we move businesses, small businesses, and they become tech enabled, how do we get them to be cyber secure?
Okay.
What are the biggest challenges that a normal SME would face, right? And how do we ensure that it's entrenched in the culture? The last episode, the episode before this one, the second episode, we talked about GRC, governance, risk, and and we talked about making it, using the business as usual approach. Ordinarily, when you say business as usual, it's really like just every day, anyhow, every day. But now we're saying, how do we make this, GRC, the business as usual thing? So let's start with first. What are the biggest risk challenges that SMEs face in terms of cybersecurity, and then how can we ensure that SMEs are cyber secure?
Okay, perfect. I love this question now, because this is one challenge we have in my company. We have tried to analyze and come up with solutions. All right. Now, one of the major challenges that many SMEs you approach tend to have is finance. All right. Okay. When you talk security, it sounds so ambiguous in the sense that I'm going to spend so much. Where am I going to get that money from? And it's quite understandable. Finance is there. The human resources are there. Now, you need experts. Like, you need someone who understands this thing to have them as part of your members of your staff to be able to implement these cybersecurity measures we're talking about. So these two things there are a host of others, but these are the ones that are quite recurring. Now, how do we address this? I'm happy that we have an SME regulator that Mr. Kole is looking after. All right, that is a key thing. When you would drive through the point of regulation, all right, letting these guys see the need. Awareness is also key. All right, they see the need to implement security. All right, because let me tell you, it is better to, they say it's better safe than sorry. All right, be proactive, implement these things, because when you get hit, body go tell you. Really, really. So the thing is, how do we address this problem? Okay. Now, there is something my company came up with, which we refer to as the managed security services.
Okay.
Now, what we do in our managed security platform is, you are an SME. We understand that many people, you may not have the strength to employ cybersecurity experts. All right, we understand that problem. In fact, even those who have even employed, who have trained them, they have jackpot.
Oh yeah,
I know this. I know our audience are in Nigeria, in Africa, right? Yeah. So they get the whole jackpot thing.
Yeah.
So a lot of them have jackpot. So there is a vacuum. So we say, you know what? Let's take off the heavy lifting off your shoulder. Let's handle your security bit. Everything regarding securing your asset, your digital asset, give it to us. We have the people in-house. We have the technological assets in-house. And what are we doing? We take off that burden from you. We are managing it proactively for you. 24/7. We have a security operations center that runs 24/7. We take off all the heavy lifting for you. We are looking at your data 24/7. Whenever you get anything that is considered an event, before it gets to an incident, we proactively respond to it and just let you know, hey, there was an attempt to, but we've taken care of it. That is what we do. And we provide it to SMEs at subsidized rates. I mean, highly subsidized. It's a way that we are also trying to give back and also enable SMEs to embrace this thing and get it. So we also offer trainings. Okay. All right. You want us to come to your organization and say, let people know, like, as you guys have those guys. I'm sure you have meetings and speak to them. Let them see the need, all right, and see that it's not as expensive. We can provide them at a very cost-efficient rate and protect your business. I mean, it's a win-win for everybody.
So, Mr. Kole, SMEs generally, let's look at understanding how, in terms of contribution, when we move SMEs from non-tech to tech, what kind of blessings would we receive? What good will it do us?
Fantastic question again, Tony. Yeah. It does a lot. Miracle just mentioned that one of the greatest things that SMEs will want to ask for is finance. Mm-hmm. So if you translate from non-tech to tech, you are sure that you have details of what your financials are, and it is open to anybody that wants to invest into your business. Yeah. So of course it attracts investment. Mm-hmm. So technology is key. It attracts investment. It also helps you with marketing. It helps you with production. Mm-hmm. It helps you with storage. It helps you with distribution. It helps you to reach out, So technology does a lot for SMEs. And, some of them they've not come to terms with that thought that, use of technology can, and a few of them are also risk averse, right? Yeah. I mean, I don't want to make calls to any bank, or when somebody calls me from bank. Some of them now are aware that, look, WhatsApp is encrypted, so let me call you on WhatsApp. Let me get my details to you on WhatsApp. So the awareness is coming in little by little, and then the transition is also is slow, but I mean it's getting there. We're trying as much as possible to see what we can do. So just to mention, we have plans to partner with, security companies like, Miracle's company, so that when we have events, with SMEs or the business membership organizations, we'll bring you up to talk to them, to, enlighten them, because, part of our mandate is to for awareness creation, to let them know that, okay, things like this are happening around the world, and things, will continue to happen. With technology, it will continue to happen. There's no stopping. Right now, we can't stop at it.
At Ethnos, we are focused on solving customers' problems. Whether it is securing the applications and databases that power your business, the users and customers that access your infrastructure, the API calls that go in and out of your business, or securing people who are your greatest assets, but also pose your weakest link. We also look after your relevant security regulatory standards and the frameworks that you should comply with. In delivering our solutions, we do not just supply you with tools. We first listen to your pain points, match them against your business objectives, and work with you on your journey to build a functional and cost-efficient security culture that supports your business. We are a company dedicated to resolving client problems and ensuring their complete satisfaction. We are continuously pushing the boundaries and collaborating with top-tier industry professionals to ensure that our clients receive the best attention with reliable and efficient service. We want them to focus on delivering value to their stakeholders while we keep them running securely. Yes, we are Ethnos. We solve real problems.
We've been talking cybersecurity for SMEs, and thank you very much for dragging that SME person by the ear, to this conversation, because I know you're going to be doing them a lot of good. They may not know it now, but they will find out later on that, this conversation was really, really important for not just their own success, but success of their business, which employs about 60 to 70% of the people on the continent of Africa. Really, really important. Now, Mr. Kole, in terms of policy, how do you think we can work around ensuring that the policies for SMEs support them putting cybersecurity as one of the major things that they would consider? How do you think we can work around that? Is it already in place? Do you think we need to do better? which stakeholders are important to ensure that we achieve this?
Okay, so about policies for SME and cybersecurity, there's no written document, right, for that at the moment. There's plan for it, but it's not a concrete plan at the moment. So we're trying as much as possible. In fact, we have a new Director General in SMEDAN, vibrant young man, and ready to listen to this kind of conversation. This gives us some sort of hope, that using technology to drive some of our own processes as well as regulators, is important. So the policy document at the moment will be reviewed in another 2 years. So we hope that, we could get conversations, feedbacks from conversations like this, and that can feed back into that policy, and then it can be refined. At the moment, there's nothing in the policy that talks about cybersecurity, but I think it's high time we look at that seriously, because this is the way to go. This is the way we are going, and this is the way we must go.
And I'm hoping also that the emerging technologies that we see now can also be factored into the policy document in terms of cybersecurity, AI, everything with data and
everything,
how it
works. Because like I mentioned to you before we came into the studio, the policy that we have right now, the policy document, only talks about non-tech-enabled businesses, somehow a bit of tech-enabled businesses, because now we are talking about nano enterprises that can employ only 1 to 3 people. So you find if a fintech guy, only his laptop, pays himself, and he turns over 25 million.
Yeah, true.
Absolutely.
Right?
We never saw this happening before.
Exactly. But right now, we need to capture that in the policy document. In fact, that also changed the nomenclature from SMEs to NMSMEs.
Okay, and what would that mean, please?
So the N stands for nano, the the first M stands for micro, then you have small, then you have medium enterprises. So
not just MSMEs.
Not MSMEs. So maybe in another 2 or 3 years we'll have now GNMSMEs or something. Okay. But again, this is because we are all learning. Imagine countries are learning, imagine economies are learning, where MSMEs are drivers of the economy, and then we are pushing, for them to continue to drive the economy, and then we are putting all the support, for them. So in this era of digitalization, we do not have a choice but to include cybersecurity and all other form of technology support for MSME, and that will be captured in the policy document.
Wow, thank you very much for this. If you're just joining this conversation, you just heard the voice of Mr. Kole Dawodu-Olubunmi, the Assistant Director of SMEDAN, SME Development Agency of Nigeria, Lagos State. And we also have Miracle Chukwudebe, Security Consultant at Ethnos. And just off what he said now, if you're an SME and if you're anything, within the space of the stakeholders, in 2 years' time, let's work together. Let's make this happen. Mr. Miracle.
Yes, please.
SMEs and cybersecurity. We talked about malware. What is malware? How does malware affect SMEs? And what kind of threats, do SMEs deal with?
Good, thank you. Thanks for that question. Now, I'll answer the question with an example. Okay. I mentioned earlier. Now, not too long ago, a radio station like yours reached out to us.
Just to be sure, it's not ours.
No, definitely not yours, and not in Lagos. Okay. So they reached out to us and they said, we don't understand though. We have some audio files that we're supposed to play. We have some commercials, well-paid commercials and they couldn't play them. And then they reached out to us. We did some forensic investigations and then realized that of a truth, they had been hacked. There had been a ransomware attack.
Wow.
Okay, so what a ransomware does, just as the name implies, ransom, it encrypts your data, your files, all right? You no longer have access to them until you pay a ransom. So the guy, writes the code, it infects your system, encrypts all the files, and leaves you a note informing you that, hey, I've hacked you. Pay so amount, not in naira, not in dollars, but in Bitcoin. All right.
Oh.
Yeah. So that it's not traceable. You get. So that was what happened, and it caused a lot of damage to that organization. Yeah, they're still in business though. But there are a lot of other businesses right now globally that have folded up because of cybersecurity threats and attacks. Now, how do you get this? The fact that you are on the web, even on WhatsApp, those links that people share, hey, click here, Tinubu is sharing 10 million, click here to claim yours. You get a lot of that shared, forwarded on WhatsApp. A lot of them have been designed, scripts have been written by attackers. And once you click on those links, sometimes malwares are installed on your system without your knowledge, on your phone, on your system. When you put your data on some of those forms that you are filling online, you are leaving yourself very exposed. This is where, cybersecurity measures come in. And cybersecurity also has to do with awareness, training people, letting them understand, because you are very much susceptible to all of these threats. You must understand that by clicking a link, you get an email, hey, click here to claim yours, click here to do that. You could just be installing a malware on your system. And now the question will be, how do I protect myself? Because I have to send emails, I have to click on links. Have an anti-malware. Okay, an anti-malware is the that protects you against malware, malicious software, antivirus. Okay. That is the one that everybody tends to know. Antivirus. So have an antivirus, an anti-malware. We call it anti-malware in the tech world, in security world, because malware is more encompassing. All right. Virus is one of the various malware. So there is virus, there is worm, there is ransomware, a whole lot of them. Right, so the modern name is now malware. So have an anti-malware. That is a proactive measure. So when such links, you mistakenly click such links, it will protect you to let you know, hey, it is a malware, and it deletes it off your system. A lot of them delete it off your system, and you can't even click on them. All right, so these are active measures you can take, and then be a part of awareness sessions. Cyber hygiene, very, very key. Like Mr. Kole's organization, as they talk about this, like you've mentioned that you guys are, organize those sessions. Let people, enlighten them. While you are here in this company, I know there are a lot of people that do not even understand some of these things. Not because they don't want to, but because that avenue has not been provided to them. All right, so you must be able to be very proactive, train your people. In cybersecurity, we say that humans are the weakest links. You may have invested so much in processes, in policies, in technologies, but people would always be the weakest link. So your security is only as strong as your weakest person. And how do you get them strengthened? Awareness. Train them. Send out for training. Listen to podcasts like this. Get aware. Equip yourself so that when you see such links, you receive such calls. Hey, do you have your credit card information there? Send me your... When you receive it, you know that this guy a criminal. All right. A criminal. Awesome. And you protect yourself. So these are just very simple tips that you just want to, as a business owner, as even a member of staff, because a cleaner can be the source of entry into a very large conglomerate. Something happened some few months ago in the US. I don't want to call the name of the corporation. A large conglomerate. And what happened? There was a hack, a major hack, serious data leak, costing them a lot of millions of dollars. Now, what happened? Someone just called the help desk. Hey, guy, I'm not around though. The guy, he took permission. The attacker took the name of one of their IT guys and then called the help desk. Hey, I'm not on say, please give me credentials to so and so server. And the guy provided over the phone, and that was it. It was, until now, they are suffering heavily. It was all over the news, so I don't just mention the name, but it's on the news. So people need to be aware. You may look at your cleaner as it's nothing, but they need to be aware so that they can all protect themselves and the organization.
I think you made
he has made a lot of sense. Two things I got from what he said now: cyber hygiene. We should also include it in the national MSME policy.
We can contribute happily.
Yeah, exactly. We should. The awareness should be enormous. Just like telling people drink water every day.
That's right.
So this cyber hygiene is very important. And then secondly, you also need to, as much as possible, be careful and employ the services services of a professional.
That's right.
To look at all this whatever. No matter how small the SME is, I'm sure that even the cybersecurity experts can prorate, some of the charges for these SMEs, to protect them.
If I can add to that, if that's fine, Like I said earlier, in my company, we have the managed. So I wouldn't expect a bank, all right, a tier 1 bank, I would expect an SME to have the same cybersecurity budget as a tier 1 bank. All right, when I'm dealing with the banks, I understand, hey, these guys, they have so much data, they have so much to protect. But you are an SME, so we have tailored services, in Ethnos, and we're just
then you could also do a comprehensive,
that is exactly what we have.
Insurance thing.
Okay.
SMEs,
We are open to such conversations. Awesome. I mean, we're happy to collaborate with SMEs. I mean, we're happy to do that just to enable the business, drive business in our country and our continent at large.
It's good to know that both of you are on the same table. Both of you are seated side by side and are also on the same page. I really look forward to seeing that collaboration, those collaborations happen, right? SMEDAN, just ensure that, because at the end of the day, the world we live in now is literally built on data, how you can process and manage data, and what comes out of it. This is just the first step, because if you think security after you've made it, then you would need to retrace your steps.
That's right.
So we need to have that, before. Right. Now, just before we leave, in final words, tell us a bit about SMEDAN, what it does and how it contributes, to SMEs and to the economy generally, and the kind of work that in the next 1, 2, 3 years that SMEDAN will be involved in.
Oh, awesome. This is more or less like what I've been doing for almost 2 decades. SMEDAN is a small and medium enterprises development agency of Nigeria. Established in 2003 by an act, and then we sunk into operation in 2005. Because it was a new thing in Nigeria at that time, or even in some part of Africa, an agency in charge of development of small and medium enterprises. So we took lessons from India, Pakistan, those that have been in it, a bit ahead of us. So we've been able to do a whole lot together with SMEs. So we started with cluster mapping, cluster development, cluster, analysis, and then we also went into, business membership organization, chambers of commerce, have had MOUs with most of them, just to, to register the presence of SMEDAN in development of, and then encourage other businesses, other small businesses to also, spring and come on board, for some of them to have, support from government. So we initiated programs, internal programs that we executed nationwide, and we're developing on all those programs right now for small businesses. And, like I mentioned before, technology just came into it and then disrupted almost everything that we've been doing, and then rearranging some of the things. So most of our concentration has been on non-tech enabled businesses. And now we're also shifting to tech-enabled businesses. We're also partnering with experts, development partners, government agencies, public and private organizations as well, to see how we can all put hands together, because it's not easy work, 40 million SMEs in Nigeria. No matter what programs we have in Lagos here. In fact, Lagos has about 18 million, thereabouts, So no matter what we do, what programs we hold, it's like a drop in the ocean for for some of them. And then also to let you know that there are unconfirmed stats too. There are about 64 million unregistered SMEs, and they operate.
That takes it close to about 100 million.
Exactly,
and that's like half the size
of the population of
Nigeria.
So there are a lot of things that we are planning. We just need to get this data first. That's why data is very important. We need to get this data first, and then with the data, it's easier for us to plan. And then we are doing a lot of work. So programs are coming up. We're taking cues from, partners, friends, messages that we hear, journals, go talk to people, so that we can start preparing programs and special projects for SMEs, and particularly in the Lagos office. I took over last year, and we've been able to do a whole lot of activities. We have a compendium of activities in Lagos, and one of them is we're trying to create an exhibition for export-ready products from SMEs. We're trying to invite investors, commercial attaches of embassies, investors within Nigeria, so that they can invest into their business, and those from abroad can be off-takers, rather than for SMEs carrying their products, abroad and then paying for tickets and paying for, getting visas difficult and all that. So we have those kind of projects in our hands, and we also we want to map the whole SMEs or MSMEs in the whole of Lagos. So we are in partnership with Sterling Bank, with other partners, to make sure that we have a proper register of SMEs in Lagos State, and we will extend that to other states in Nigeria. The reason why it is Lagos is because I work in Lagos, and then secondly, we have the highest concentration of SMEs, within Lagos. So SMEDAN is doing a lot, and like I said earlier too, we have a young Director General now. He's pushing in so many things. Let's start building communities. Let's start seeing how we can, empower these communities, of SMEs. So a whole lot, and we're also learning, from people like you.
Just as SMEDAN has a lot of plans to ensure that you're not just local, but you're also international. You ensure that just as the plan kicks off, you're secure and protected. It's really, really important. Final words from Mr. Miracle. Just take a minute to tell us about Ethnos and the kind of services it provides, and give us a word to wrap up this conversation on how important cybersecurity is for the growth of SMEs. Because if you're an SME, you're also thinking about growing and scaling your business.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Now, at Ethnos, we pride ourselves as a solution-driven company. We just want to solve problems. So anything called digital problem in the terms of the security space generally, we are solving such problems. Okay, and we are homegrown. We're not an international company that came into Nigeria. We understand the terrain, the Nigerian business terrain. We understand the scope of businesses that we work with. So irrespective of how large your business is, we have a tailored solution for you. All right. So we provide these services, security services, to banks, top-tier banks, insurance companies, and SMEs generally. All right. So what we're doing is help us. Let's help you. Let's partner with you. We don't see you as clients, right? We see you as partners. Okay. We just want to partner with you as an organization and help you in this your cybersecurity journey. Provide trainings, provide solutions, technical solutions, help with policies, implementation, interpretation for you as an organization, help you identify the different key requirements or regulations that you must comply with. Now, something that is very key now that the Nigerian space is driving is what we call the NDPR. All right, that's data protection. Now, Nigeria is tilting towards that, and they're beginning to take it quite seriously. Okay, so we help you in as much as you collect customer data, whether via phone, whether as I walk into your organization and I fill my name in your register. That's my data you have, my name. How do you so whatever touch point that you as an organization, so far you interact with customer data, we're there to help you. Let's protect you. Let's understand your business, and let's protect your business proactively. So we're just a phone call away. Ethnos Cyber is just a phone call away. Let's have a conversation. Let's interact. Let's understand your pain points, and then we are happy to provide or prefer solutions to you, bespoke solutions, tailored solutions that will help you, drive you, make you a very profitable business. Increase your brand reputation, attract investors, and bolster the confidence of stakeholders and other interested parties in your business.
Okay, so just spend the next 30 seconds, just a summary of your thoughts based on the discussions we've had now, Mr. Miracle and then Mr. Kole.
I'm happy we're having this conversation. With Mr. Kole right here, looking at the SME space. That is a market I feel that is not yet saturated. while those people come across having those conversations, how do we raise funds? These are easy steps, proactive steps you can take. First of all, become tech enabled because you want to grow. At the end of the day, you want to grow. You don't just want to have your online shop on WhatsApp. Hey, hello, family and friends, we are active. No, we don't want to. You want to scale. You want to grow. So in that growth, we're happy to partner with you. It's good to have conversations so that organizations understand the need for scaling. All right, you want to scale. Just like you said, businesses are local, but you're global. We want to scale. As you want to scale, embrace tech. And while you're embracing tech, embrace security, because those are things that will keep you safe in the cyber world.
Okay, I'm Mr. Kole.
Awesome. So I'll just come on the side of a regulator, and two things I'll talk about is, first of all, let us embrace that partnership, with other organizations that are experts in, technology, cybersecurity, all forms of, technology, all forms of works of life that can, give us that support to develop SMEs. That's one. And then secondly, awareness for SMEs. In my office, in a day, I receive nothing less than 30 SMEs coming every day. So you can sum that up in a month, in a year, and you know what it is. And some of them don't even repeat themselves. Some other people come and they want to know, what is it for us? So finally, I also want to come on the side of incentives for non-tech enabled SMEs. Tech-enabled SMEs can, find out what support they can get online. They can do all that. But non-tech SMEs have that restriction. So what incentives can we give to them? Organize a webinar or a physical event. Tell them, we can give you guys this for free, or we can give you at a discount rate and all that. So that encourages them to come on board and then, be tech-enabled.
Okay. Thank you very much. Industry experts say that the small businesses' cybersecurity budget should be at least 3% of their total spending, at least. And it's really important that everyone, including SMEs, take cybersecurity seriously. We say thank you to Ethnos for putting this together on Africa Tech Radio as sponsors, and we say thank you to our guest today, Mr. Miracle Chukwudebe, security consultant at Ethnos, and Mr. Kole Dawodu-Olubunmi, an assistant director of SMEDAN. SMEDAN is a SME development agency of Nigeria. He's in the Lagos State office. Thank you very much for coming around and sharing your thoughts with us today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
So we just finished talking about cybersecurity for SMEs, and yes, thank you very much for not leaving the room, you SME. Thank you very much, and I hope that you share this knowledge with other people too, so that it's not just beneficial to you, but it's beneficial to a lot more people, because you are the life wire of our economy. You are the life wire of our life. We need you. And I look forward to the announcements that would come from this conversation sponsored by Ethnos, and which also had the SMEDAN, the SME Development Agency of Nigeria. It's really, really important conversation if we're going to scale small businesses, especially the non-tech businesses, which contribute more than 60% of the total SME number and population. Then we need to also have them secure, right? First off, before we say, oh yes, we're scaling them. And when we scale them, we do not need to really look back and try to retrace our steps and whatnot. Big ups to South Africa for winning the Rugby World Cup in Paris on Saturday. That's over the weekend. They defeated New Zealand by just 1 point, but that 1 point was enough, 12-11. And the South African president, Cyril Ramaphosa, has declared a public holiday after the country won the 2023 Rugby World Cup in Paris on Sunday. And he made this decision to celebrate the Springboks' momentous achievement in the nationwide address. He addressed the country on Monday, and this holiday will be on the 15th of December. Yep. And it's been described as a day of hope, a day of celebration, and a day of unity. The sportsmen and women of South Africa have shown what is possible, and it's a sign of hope for the country. This is a country that's, the world's highest unemployment rate at 42% currently. There are other economic problems too: poverty rate, frequent blackouts, electricity problem. It's a whole lot. But following South Africa's World Cup win in Stade de France, the president, sees this as something, a glimmer of hope that everyone can latch onto to get something or create something bigger or better. And as this is happening, we're also seeing big ups to Rema and the crew of the Mavens. Big time. Rema performed, to over 800 million people who came to watch Lionel Messi, the Argentine, get his 8th Ballon d'Or. But come on, I'm celebrating Rema. You can be celebrating Messi. It's all good. We're all in celebration. And something that's really important that we need to look out for is the TikTok star that was accused of falsely claiming to be a doctor. Well, he's been arrested and he tried to enter a hospital in South Africa. Matthew Lani is his name. He actually garnered thousands of followers by sharing medical advice and selling medication online. Remember when they say whatever happens, consult your doctor, they don't mean a fake doctor. They meant a real doctor. On Sunday night, Mr. Lani tried to bypass security by disguising himself with a surgical mask and stethoscope. He tried to escape also police custody by jumping off a bathroom window, before he was caught. The Gauteng Province Department of Health released a statement saying that he frequently used the Helen Joseph Hospital in Joburg, where he was caught, to curate misleading content under the pretense that he was a qualified doctor. So he was using the facility to create videos. He had almost 300,000 followers on TikTok before his account was closed, and then he opened another one which had more than 50,000. This follows the manhunt. His arrest follows the manhunt that's lasted several weeks after questions arose over his qualifications. And he says that he received a degree from the University of Witwatersrand in Joburg, and they say that nope, we have no idea who you are. And according to the Department of Education, this man in question did not even obtain his school leaving certificate. Can you imagine? And he also tried to mislead authorities by saying his real name was Sanele Zingelwa, a second-year medical intern at the Tembisa Provincial Tertiary Hospital. And Dr. Zingelwe has opened a criminal case against him. There's been over 100 of such arrests over the last 3 years, according to the Ministry of Health in South Africa. And we're hoping that this doesn't continue, or we're hoping that whenever anything like this happens or comes up, we actually report things like this, because it's really, really important that we report it so that it doesn't become like people don't get affected. Just imagine all the number of people who have paid him thinking he's a doctor to help promote their products, and the number of people who, without knowing, right, that he's not a doctor, have listened to him give out medication on TikTok and on live, right? It's really important that we are trying to democratize information, all access to information. We're trying to ensure that it's really, really democratized, but it's also very important that we do our due diligence for PR companies, for advertising companies, for pharmaceutical companies, and for ordinary individuals who just see, like, you need to ask questions. A lot of people are giving advice every day on social media. What's their background? Do you really know them? And if you know someone who is impersonating someone, please, it's really important that you help take that person off that platform, so that we can also ensure that we give legitimacy to these platforms that are trying to democratize information generally. Thank you so much. I stream on africatechradio.com Mondays to Fridays, weekdays, 9 a.m. GMT +1 or 9 a.m. West African time till midday. And we've just finished talking about cybersecurity for small business. You can catch episode 1 and episode 2. Episode 1 was generally on the trends, the review of 2023, and also mitigation and strategies for 2024 and trends for 2024. And episode 2 was on GRC, governance, risk, and compliance. You can catch them on Africa Tech Radio. You can also catch them on streaming platforms. Everywhere you listen to your podcast, just type Africa Tech Radio and you will find episode 1 and episode 2 of this wonderful series on cybersecurity, sponsored by Ethnos.
At Ethnos, we are focused on solving customers' problems. Whether it is securing the applications and databases that power your business, the users and customers that access your infrastructure, API calls that go in and out of your business, securing people who are your greatest assets, but also pose your weakest link. We also look after your relevant security regulatory standards and the frameworks that you should comply with. Yes, we are Ethnos. We solve real problems.